What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Mohawk Motors. My name is Jason. Today we're picking up where we left off in the last video, and we're going to get those electric fans installed into this work model 2500 HD. Let me show you how to do it. Okay, I want to try to do this without opening up the cooling system. So I'm going to get my intake tube moved out of the way. I'm going to get my hoses and lines unhooked from this fan shroud. And then I'm going to get the top half of the shroud out of the truck. The bottom half is separate from the top. It's just held together with some plastic couplers. So hopefully I can get the top piece out. That'll give me access to undo everything attached to the bottom piece. Okay, I got the top part of my fan shroud out. It's held in place with two 10mm bolts, a couple 4 plastic rivets that connected to the bottom half, and then the various push fit connectors that are holding the hoses in place on it. The next thing I need to do is get my mechanical clutch fan off of the water pump snout. And the easiest way I know to do that is to get yourself some kind of wrench that fits over the hex. The closest thing I have is a pipe wrench, and smack it with a hammer. If your belt is good and tight and you're lucky, it'll come loose that way. If not, you need to find a way to hold the water pump pulley and then knock that fan clutch loose. Okay, it doesn't look like our serpentine belt has enough tension to hold the water pump pulley in place tight enough. So we're gonna pull off the serpentine belt and use another pipe wrench to hold the water pump pulley in place while we knock the fan clutch loose with our second wrench. Okay, it took a couple tries, but there we go. We got it knocked loose and out of the way. Okay, we'll put our serpentine belt back on real quick. Oh, the belt routing sticker is gone. Oh, I should have paid better attention to how the belt was routed. Nope, that's not how. Nope, that's not how. I'm trying to puzzle this out. Meanwhile, I have another truck with the exact same serpentine setup right behind me with the belt on it. Duh, Jason, pay attention to what is going on around you as well. There we go. Look at that. Wasn't that simple? There we go. Okay, so now we've just got a couple little clips holding things on the bottom half of the fan shroud, and then we can lift that up out of the way as well. Voila! So next step is we get our electric fan put back into place here. What I really like about GM, and I use this reference all the time, but GM trucks are like the Legos of the automotive world. If you can get within a couple years, unless it's one of the years that they had a hard body style change, the parts probably will work together. And this is a perfect example. These trucks are only 1 year apart, but that electric fan setup will drop right into place on here. Try not to jack up your radiator, Jason. Almost there. There we go. Just make sure you get it slipped down into the little L brackets on the radiator itself. And then you can install your two 13mm bolts that hold it in place. A little bit of anti-seize on the bolts. Now the only other thing we'll still need to do is get our wiring hooked back up. I need to look at the harness in this truck and see if it's the same as the harness from the fan donor. The biggest reason that I'm doing this conversion is because it gives me a lot more space to work here in the engine compartment. A little bonus is it frees up a little bit of horsepower because the engine no longer has to drive that mechanical fan. But my real reason for doing this was the space it gives me. And you can see now we've got a ton of room here. We could run our crossover exhaust. Our hot side on the exhaust crossover could be here. When the time comes, I want to run, you know, a turbo right here in either corner of the engine compartment. But we're going to do everything we can to this naturally aspirated before we start getting into power adders. Just to see what kind of difference it makes and how much fun we can have with the truck that way. I think we can have a lot of fun with it that way. So the truck didn't have the air filter box when I got it, but if you've been watching and if you've been following along, you know that I part these trucks out. Well, I have this air filter box from a 2005 that had a 4.8 in it. So I'm gonna stick this in there and you know, maybe if anybody's ever looking, if we're ever doing any racing, this will throw them off the scent a little bit. There we go. We've got all our intake plumbing back where it's supposed to be. The next thing we'll need to do is work on getting the wiring done. So I need to look at the harness here and see if the harnesses are the same or if I'm going to need to take the electric fan controls out of that harness and add them to this one. Okay, everybody, it's the next day. I decided the easiest way to do this is going to be for me to pull the harness out of this truck and then lay both harnesses out, get the wiring for the electric fans added into this harness, and then put it back where it goes. So just nothing to it but to do it at this point. I'll have to get the fuse box, power distribution box taken out, a couple other things, and then I'll be able to get the harness out off the core support. Okay, I've got both harnesses laid out on the ground. This is the harness from the Yukon. That's the harness from the white truck. So now all I need to do is get what I need, which is the separate little fuse panel there, the power feed, get that out of this harness, and just put it into that harness. I don't have to splice any wires. There's no cutting. All I have to do is just take the looming off and unwrap and remove the electric fan wiring and add it into the other wiring. Everything else stays the same. I don't have to mess with it. Okay, so I've got the harness for my electric fans out of the Yukon front light harness. So now I just need to try to get this added into the truck harness. I want to try to do it as cleanly as I can, try to make it look like a factory installation. Well, that was tedious, but it'll be worth it. I've got my electric fan wiring added into the factory harness, all neat and tidy. No one will ever know that it wasn't there from the factory. Now we got to get it stuck back in the truck. We've got our electric fans installed. We've got all the wiring put in place and put back together. We've got our fan controls wired right into the front light harness and in the factory location here. Now the only thing I have left to do is, this is the harness from the PCM that controls the two electric fans. So I need to get the PCM out of place here. I'll pop it out. get my 2 wires pinned in to where they go to run the electric fans, and then I'll tuck them into the main harness here just to get it up here to where the other end of the plug is. Okay, I use HP tuners on my projects. Now, there's a little bit of a programming difference from the factory in the computers. Starting in 2004, I believe, they told all the computers how to run electric fans. They just didn't activate it in all of them. And that's the case with this one. This computer should already know how to work electric fans and have the temperatures preset into it. It just doesn't know that it has them yet. It's not activated. So in order to do this, the first thing you need to do is make sure that you are in advanced view in HP tuners. Then you go to system, fans, and over here where it says hardware, fan type, change it from no fans to 2 fans. That's the only change you need to do on a 2004 or newer 411 PCM. That you close this window, save the tune, and write entire to the vehicle. And then you should be able to work your fans. All right, everybody. Well, there we go. We've got our electric fans installed. We've got our computer reprogrammed to use and operate the electric fans. It switches them on and off based on the temperature of the engine. But I think I'm going to call it for this video. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you found this helpful, be sure to subscribe so you can see other videos just like it. And until the next time, take care.